Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome to the Daily English Show. Today's guest is Francoise. Francoise is originally from Quebec and her parents are originally from Belgium. Today I asked Francoise about English and French. I asked her how she learned English and whether or not she still has trouble sometimes expressing herself in English. I started out by asking her why her parents moved from Belgium to Quebec.
A lot of their family came to Quebec from Belgium. My father had already 5 kids, and in Belgium it was very difficult to make a living with 5 kids, for a family with 5 kids. And back then, in the 1960s, there was like lots of work in Quebec, and the land was cheap and housing was cheap, so for them their money went a long way in Quebec compared to in Belgium.
Is your accent a typical Quebec accent, or is it different because your parents are from Belgium? When you meet someone who speaks French, can you tell if they're from Quebec or another country? How did you learn English? What helped your English the most when you were travelling? Just talking to people? Do you speak French much these days? Do you still have any trouble expressing yourself in English? What's the hardest thing about English?
It's a mix. I have few different accents. I have and that I don't control. They just show up. I have an accent that is a little more European. I wouldn't say like it's from like French or from Belgium, but that is more articulate and more. Yeah, I think most of it is more articulation and less Quebecois accent. I don't know how to describe it. And then that's the one that I speak when I'm with friends, and then when I'm with my family, then I go more into my my European accent. Then when I'm with friends, I'm more with my Quebecois accent. But it's automatic. I'm not conscious of it. It happens. I cannot make it happen. Yes. Yeah. Even to differentiate between French and Belgium, I could probably. Not always, maybe, but there's a very strong Belgium accent that is different from the French accent. But even in France, they have a lot of different accents within France. At school, at first. And but in Quebec I feel like the second language is not very well taught, so you know a lot of theory and grammar and vocabulary, but you don't really learn how to really have a conversation and speak very fluently. But I learned more of that traveling. I started traveling, I was probably 18, 19. And that's when I really started learning English. Oh yeah, it was to be in life and having to manage and make myself understood, and in all the situation of life, and with people. I hitchhike a lot, so hitchhiking, you talk with the driver, and he's not even looking at you too much, so you cannot use your hands too much, which I always do. And but I knew enough of English from school to to make myself understood, even probably with tons of mistakes. But English speaking people are generally very, very, very patient and very respectful of you making mistakes. That's a big, big help that I need to recognize in the English-speaking population. They are very accepting of what you do with their language. Contrary to French people, they kind of, I don't know if it's laugh at people who's try. It's not that they laugh at them, but it sounds so weird to our ears sometimes to hear what people do when they learn French. It doesn't sound good, it doesn't sound beautiful, so we're kind of less, and we feel like they're destroying, you know, something like, I don't know what's happening really, but it's not so pleasing to the ear to listen to someone that speaks French with, you know, lots of mistakes or strong accent, or so it makes it, I feel like people are shy often to speak French. Like in Canada, for example, I heard that many times, English-speaking people saying how difficult it was to learn French because we're not very accepting. And the other way around is totally different. I speak mostly English. My family would hate to hear that. Because my partner speaks French, but he's way more at ease in English. So now I don't really even notice when we switch from one language to the other. So sometimes I would start a conversation in French, he continues a bit, but as soon as he hit a spot that he doesn't know in French, he goes in English, and then I go back to English without really noticing. And since we don't have much of a thing about wanting to speak French, we often don't take the time and the concentration just to stick with French instead of switching back and forth. I put a lot of French in my daily interactions with him, but when we have a conversation, it's often in English. And then I have friends that I call on the phone, and then my family, I call my mom regularly, and I speak French with my family, of course, and some friends from Quebec. And there's a good amount of French-speaking people in this area, in the Nelson area, in the Kootenays. Which, like just now, coming back from work, I took a guy hitchhiking, and he was from Quebec. He's been here 15 years, but we talk French all the way. So, but I would say I probably speak like 80% English. Well, I speak way slower in English. I have two personalities. I've been giving that feedback, that when people hear me speak in French, they're all surprised to see that personality shows up. I feel like languages have kind of a personality that comes with them. And yeah, words come probably not as flowingly in English. And I'm more quiet, I'm more like, I speak more slowly. Well, something that I feel like I still don't get, it's humor. Humor has been, I mean, that was very, very bad when I first, you know, for many years I didn't understand any kind of jokes unless they were really kids joke, you know, like level, you know, grade first grade, and you know, and that's something that I still often miss when jokes are told. Oops, I don't get it, because humor has a lot of you need a lot of background from the culture to get all the subtleties of humor. Puns and jokes are often made from all kind of either politics or social. Yeah, it's a whole culture that can be involved in a joke that often I don't understand.
And that was the Daily Englisher. See you tomorrow.